All right. So let's kick things off. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Really excited to get this going. As I stated in the very beginning, we're not going to be doing a PowerPoint at all. Or maybe my office is super hot, so I'm going to put the air on. We're going to be diving right into technology, and we're going to be going through mastering engagement through leveraging technology, right? Prospects to properties, right? How do we talk to someone? How do we follow up? How do we engage them? Because the majority of people, if you connect with 100 people, one, if not two, might be ready that, right now in the next 3 months. 20 are not ready until next year. So we're going to talk about how to leverage technology, which is going to save you so much time and energy. And I personally like to refer to it as your personal assistant. So all of you actually have, for those using Command or a technology system like it, you have a personal assistant. You don't even know it. You're paying for it. You're at a Mark Center. You have an assistant. So tonight we're going to talk about how best to use your assistant. Okay. For those new to jumping in tonight, because I know there's a few newer faces. My name is Alana Hubert Katz. I've been an agent since 2015, national coach and trainer and consultant, and also a labs advisor with Keller Williams. So that just means I get to play with all the technology 6 months before it rolls out and break things and tell them what I like and don't like. If you hear noises, lots of noises, I am in my office tonight as opposed to last night where some of you heard my cats. Tonight I'm in my office and we're having a huge prospecting party. So we have about 20 plus agents outside of my office right now with beverages and food calling, smiling and dialing. Their call expired tonight. So if you hear lots of noises, when they get appointments, they're all supposed to scream. So, and I don't have a door. Like my office door broke. So if you hear noises, we all get to celebrate. All right. Just want to share that with you in the space we're in tonight. So here's what we're going to be going through. And I'm going to share my screen in just a minute. What we're going to be going through is what's called no lead left behind. Right? We work way too hard. Right. Who on here is in the chat box? Throw in there. Are you a full-time agent, or are you what we could like to refer to as dual career, meaning you have another job and you are also an agent? Dual, full, dual. Okay. Oh, I love it. Full beside businesses. That's a good one. That's me. I'm full with side businesses. That's me right there. Full dual. Okay. So it's a nice mixture of both. Here's the thing. We all have 24 hours in our day. Can we all agree to that? Now we have a certain amount of those hours we like to sleep, and I really hope you do get sleep, because if not, that's not healthy. And we have a certain number of hours we, do things with friends or family or pets or whatever we like to, hobbies, whatever we like to do. And then we have a certain number of hours that if we have another job, we're at that other job. Maybe you're trying to transition out of that into real estate. But at the end of the day, we all have time management issues. Can we agree to that? We just get like a yes to that. Do we all have some time management? Yes, right? By the way, that's not a bad thing to say. It's just owning that we need to find different ways to be more purposeful with our time to be more successful. That's all that means. Time management issues means we need different strategies. We cannot make more time in our day. I can't be like, you know what? Forget that 24. I want 26. I'm going to have 26 hours today. Right? We also can't, if we have another job, we can't say, you know what? Forget this work. I'm going to do this instead, because then we get fired. Don't do that. Okay? That's not good. So we need to make the most of our time, both in the activities we do. What are we focusing on with our activities, right? Are we doing what matters in real estate to get the appointments for the results we want? Hence this whole group here tonight. Or not and are we leveraging something to help keep us top of mind to work smarter, not harder? Has anybody on here been in real estate for a year or more? Any years or more? 2 new jobs. Oh, thank you for sharing that. 2 new jobs. I feel like my brain is on fire. Thank you for sharing that. Can we all just, I'm sure there's somebody else on here who feels like their brain's on fire, right? It's crazy. And by the way, if you're brand new to real estate, meaning less than 90 days, you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, like full on, full blast. By the way, that's normal. It trickles down. Just to let you know, over time, it's going to trickle down. Okay. So I see this 3 years, 2 years, 8 days. Wow. Okay. All right. So somebody who's been in over a year, I'm going to ask this question. Would love somebody to come off mute and answer it, or throw it in the chat box. And that is, and you can also use the little raise hand button at the bottom. And that is, we have 2 things, right? We have the hustle, right? Where we are talking to people, whether it's in person, making calls, the group tonight, they're all calling a whole bunch of expired listings, right? And then you finally get that one person ready to say yes today for an appointment, by the way. But the majority of people might say next year or the year after. So for those who've been in over a year, have you ever had the experience, and I'd love to hear a little story if somebody has it, have you ever had an experience where you finally follow up with someone after a period of time? Maybe you lost touch with them. Maybe you lost even the person in your Post-it notes, okay, your Excel file. And then you follow up with them, and their response to you is, oh my God, yeah, we just bought a few months ago. Anybody have that? Oh, see, right. Go ahead, Lori.
I thought your question was going to be about losing a seller.
Same thing. It'd be totally losing a seller as well.
Yeah, so the last meeting.
Oh, Lori, you are completely breaking up.
Something that everybody told me not to admit, and I didn't really. I am? Oh, that's too bad. How about now?
Oh, much
No?
better. Yep, much
Okay,
better.
well, I just lost a $3 million listing. I just lost a $3 million listing that I worked on for 2 years. And I attribute it to essentially technology. I had no competition. I had one other agent, and she was no competition. Their reason was that, quote unquote, it didn't seem that I just don't think I presented it the right way technologically in our Zoom meeting. I don't know what I did wrong, but $3 million listing. It's not like I had top agents that were competing against me.
Thank you for sharing that story. And here's the thing. Number one, that hurts. And I'm so sorry you had that experience. I'm so sorry. And the more business all of you do, every single one of you will have that experience. It might not be a $3 million listing, but you're going to have that experience with whatever price point. Okay. We will lose things, whether it's because something we did in our presentation, whether it's because we followed up too late, right? Many different reasons. Yes, Gwen?
Yes, my experience was usually when someone calls me, I had become accustomed to most people that called me wanted me to be their agent. So this gentleman had looked me up and called and wanted me to come over, and I'm going out there, but I'm going out there with the attitude, which is good to have an attitude, but I learned not too much. But I had the attitude that this was my listing, So
Mhm.
I went in strong, you know, what we're gonna do. And then I didn't hear from him after I left. And the next day he said, when we're interviewing, and I thought he was my first person that was really interviewing. So anyway, I was like, oh. And as soon as he said that, like something in my stomach went, oops, because I just don't think it went over. I think I went in, and I'm not even going to say it was overconfident. I had just never experienced anyone asking me to come out that was interviewing. And usually once they asked me to come out, I had the listing unless I, you know, did something to blow it. So that was I learned that you really don't have the listing until you have the listing.
Right there. You really don't have the listing until they sign it and you have the listing. We are always interviewing. We are always in spotlight. So I want to take this back a step, and that is to talk about, let's go down the line of sellers, because we just had 2 seller examples, right? And I'm going to give you, actually, I'm going to throw out a statement. And in the chat box, I want you to put in a number. What percentage of our business and our success comes from follow-up? Approximately. What percentage of our business and success comes from follow-up? See, 100, 195. What else we got? 100, 20, 75, 75. We got some great numbers here. Guessing 99, 80. All right. So a study was done by like Harvard or something. And the study was done actually every 3 years, they do the exact same study. And what's interesting is every 3 years is the exact same results. And what the study showed is within a sales type industry, real estate being one of them, 86% approximately. So it varies. It could be between, basically it's the whole 80-20 principle. About 86% of our success comes from our follow-up. Here's what that means. If you talk to, I'm going to use easy number for math because I don't do math after 5 o'clock at night. If you talk to 10 people, okay, will all 10 be ready to sell today? Or all 10 like, yes, Annie, hire me. I'm ready to sell today. Could you imagine? Oh my God. That'd be the greatest thing ever, wouldn't it? But that's not true, right? There's no magic wand. That doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. We're not HGTV, okay? So typically in that 10, there might be one who is ready now-ish, now being between now and 4 months from now. Anything between, what month are we in? June? Anything between June, July, August, September means now. One of those 10, maybe, right? But then you have that other 9. Out of that 9, typically 3 to 5 will have some sort of real estate need in the future, usually within a year from now, if not 2. Right? So think about this for a minute. If your goal every day was to have enough conversations to find 5 people who had a real estate need within the next 12 months, and every day you talk to enough people, whatever that number is, to find 5 people who have a real estate need in the next 12 months, 12 months being all the way up to June 13th, 2025, right? So that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 people in a week. That means that's 100 people in a month. That means that if you focused on those who have a real estate need in the future, you just in 1 month added 100 people to your pipeline. We're going to talk about pipeline just a little bit. You have 100 people that you added who have a real estate need and said to you, I have a real estate need within the next year. Not today, but within the next year. How does that change your business? What does that do for you? Live question. What does that do for you?
Gives you something to more like to focus in on.
Gives you something more to focus in on. I love that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
What
you
else?
keep in contact with those people that had a need.
Yep, and
Or
that's what we're going through tonight. How are you going to keep in contact with those people, right? I see here in the chat, I see encouraging, right? I'm going to change that to our, it's all of it relies on follow-up. So interesting fact about real estate. This has been a proven fact by some researchers out there. Don't know who they are, but they seem smart. And the researchers, I'm just going to call them they. So they have done research and they show that about 80% of our success comes from follow-up. And in real estate, about 1% to 2% of agents were really good at follow-up. Follow-up was one of the hardest things for real estate agents to do. Because we're constantly chasing the now. We want instant gratification. So if we are not if we're still learning and growing our follow-up skills, we need to leverage technology to do it for us, or to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. Okay. So that's what tonight's going to be about. I'm going to share my screen. I'm actually going to share my personal command. You're going to see names, you're going to see numbers, you're going to see things in there. It's my database. So, you're all going to get in my database in a minute. And the hardest yet seems like the most important. Yes, it is. The hardest thing to master is the most important thing we need to master. When you actually, not even master, when you actually increase your skills, which by the way, you're all going to walk away with an action item tonight that's going to increase your follow-up skills. If you take this action item within 24 hours, you're going to have a 24-hour action item plan. If you take this action, you will start seeing an increase in your follow-up skills, and you will start seeing an increase in people actually remembering you're in real estate to come to you. It won't be overnight. It's going to take time, but it's magical when it happens. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen right now. We're going to dive right into Command. Now, here's the thing. If you are not using Command, or if you don't have access yet because you're a guest, you haven't received your login yet, take as many notes as possible. This is being recorded. The recording will be sent out by the Sunday at the latest. Okay. So take as many notes as possible. As I'm going through this, if you have questions, raise your digital hand, or you can throw it right in the chat box. I will be looking at that as we go through. If it is a question, oh wow, I just noticed a spelling mistake. Ooh, that annoys me. If it is a question that is a little too, what am I trying to say? Not for tonight. I'm going to put my information in the chat box. I'm more than happy for you to message me the question, and I can guide you through it, or guide you to somebody at your Market Center who can help you. Okay. So I'm putting my email in the chat box for all of you to have it. All right. So we're in Command. Now, for those new to Command, I am going to give a little thing here. Now, for some of you who've been on the past Thursdays, you've already gone through some of these steps, but there might be some new faces, so bear with me. All right. Who on here has an iPhone? Anybody have an iPhone? I guess I can also say, do you have an Android? Not a fan. Sorry, Android users. We have smartphones. There was a time where all of us did not have smartphones, depending on your age, unless that was the first thing you got, and then hang out with us for the story. So some of us, like myself, I didn't grow up with a phone. All of a sudden you went to flip phone, you went to this other type of phone, and fast forward, you get this smartphone. So you get handed a smartphone, and it has these things on it called apps, right? And I don't know about any of you, but I sat there with my husband in a restaurant with our new smartphones, looking at these apps like, what in the world? And I went to Barnes & Nobles and I bought iPhone for Dummies. Literally, I bought that book for myself. Okay. Because I couldn't figure out, like, I needed to learn what the apps do. Now, the smartphone, can we all agree the smartphone is an extension of our arm? Right? Is that true? Some thumbs up, some reactions. We do Amazon shopping. We do our banking. We do everything on the smartphone. right? It is attached to us. Think of Command just like that. Command is your new smartphone. All of these things over here are apps. Once you learn the apps, this will be an extension of your business. It takes time to learn all of this. If you focus on it every day for 15 minutes, it will take you about 90 days to learn it all. If you focus on it once a week for 30 minutes, it will take you about 4 months to learn it all. If you focus on it for 1 hour a month, it'll take you about 6 months to learn it all. By the way, all those are great time frames, totally up to you, right? Just giving you some realistic learning curve there. Today, what we're going to focus on, we're going to live in smart plans. I'm going to dabble a little bit in opportunities, but not a lot. We're going to dabble a little bit in here. So smart plans will be where we live. Opportunities, we're going to dabble. And then designs is where you're going to have an action item. Well, actually, you're going to have an action item in smart plans and designs. So again, smart plans, opportunities, and designs is where we're going to spend our evening. Right? Again, as we go through this, please, please, please ask questions. Sometimes I do go through this a little fast, and I don't realize it. So feel free if you're thinking, oh my gosh, slow down just a little bit. Somebody else on here is thinking that. So just let me know. Okay. All right, so we're going to start in smart plans. Now, here's the thing with smart plans. Smart plans are automation, emails, and texting. Now, if you're like, listen, I love my Excel sheet. I'm all about my Post-its and my Excel sheet. I'm good. I got this notebook here with all my information in it. I have my phone with all my contacts. That's great for your first 30 days. But unfortunately, what ends up happening is you can't grow from there. You can't have automated emails sent out to people on your behalf through an Excel. You can't look in a notebook over a 6-month period to find your notes on someone you had a conversation with 6 months ago. That's why taking time, I typically find when I coach agents, they don't use smart plans because they don't want to sit down and take time to do the steps I'm about to show you. Right? So I'm going to show you a step. Then I'm going to actually have you take, those of you with access to Command, I'm going to have you take the step. Those of you without access, you just get to watch me do the step over and over again while other people are taking action. Okay. All right, so in smart plans, you have what's called the library. So my smart plans, think of smart plans like a big bookshelf. You go to the, like you go to Barnes and Nobles or whatever bookstore you like, right? You have this empty bookshelf at home. My smart plans is your empty bookshelf. The library is all the books. And you do not have to recreate any wheel, right? Here's what I mean by that. Let's say you like doing open houses. I type in the word open, and type in the word house, and there's 524 results for open house smart plans created for you to use. Anniversary. There you go, home anniversaries. You can put people's birthdays in here, right? I'll give you an example of the birthday one. I ended up one day having, I didn't do this, I had my daughter do it. I took all the birthdays of all of our agents at our market center, and I added all the birthdays to their contact card, right, in Command, and then put every single agent on the birthday smart plan. So what's happening is, number one, it sends me a reminder about 3 days in advance that their birthday's coming up. But then what it also does is on their birthday, the system sends them a happy birthday text. What's great is I get text messages on their birthday thanking me. I don't know why they're thanking me because I don't remember that it's their birthday. That sounds horrible. You're all getting a little inside scoop. My agents here don't know. Don't tell them. Okay. They don't know that I automated this 2 years ago, set it and forget it. And when new agents join, we just put them on here. So they get this text on their birthday, which makes them feel great. And I get a thank you. Then I have to look up why they're thanking me. Okay. I will show you this. You will see featured ones. Okay, so you have monthly call plan, 6 month looking, just looking nurtures, loving your clients. That's a brand new one. Haven't even looked at that one yet. Right? 8x8, meaning eight touches in 8 weeks, 8 emails in 8 weeks. Reminder calls, quarterly calls, et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk a little about customizing this to your different types of leads. Okay, that's what we're going for here. First, I'm going to give you the #1 smart plan that tonight or by tomorrow, as long as you have access to Command, you should put yourself on. And then over the next 90 days, every single person you have an email address for should be on the smart plan I'm about to show you. Because this smart plan has been used, hold on, let me find it. Over 195,897 times. That means this is the most used smart plan out of the entire Keller Williams worldwide network and has the greatest success ratio. I put over 2,100 people on this in 2019. And I'm going to share how I did that and how exhausting it was and what it took, but I'm going to share the results of it. Okay. By the way, the sun is going down. It's completely in my eye. So I'm going to close my shade as I'm standing here talking to you. Ooh. Oh my goodness. There you all are. Fantastic. I can see you. Excellent. So the monthly neighborhood nurture is great because what it does is it just reminds everybody once a month that you're in real estate, right? In a very consumer friendly way, right? What the consumer sees, the person who's not in real estate, friend, family, buyer, seller, anybody you have an email address on, right? I used to coach soccer and the entire soccer league is in my database. I don't know them. I have no idea who all these parents are, but I have their email addresses because of the soccer list and they're all getting monthly neighborhood nurture. If they don't like it, they can unsubscribe. But what's cool about it is it sends them a customized website. And so it looks like I made a website for each person. That's actually what it does. Let me actually walk through this and actually show you what it looks like. So we're going to add it to, first we have to take it from the library, put in our smart plans, right? For those of you who are on previous Thursday night sessions, you might have already done this. Some of this might be repeat, but guess what? Practice makes perfection. Let me rephrase that. There's no such thing as perfect. Practice makes permanent, meaning muscle memory. No such thing as perfection. If you strive for it, you're always going to fail. So we're going to add the smart plan. I can't add it because it's already in mine, but we're going to add the smart plan, download it, and it goes right into my smart plans. And in here, I can find this. Right. So here it is right now. Monthly neighborhood nurture. I have it twice in here. I have no idea why. And then what you're able to do is add contacts to this. So you know what I'm going to have you all do right now is we're actually going to take action on this one right now. In the chat box, if you already have the monthly neighborhood nurture going for all of your clients, while we're doing this activity, throw in the chat box, nope, already have the setup for everybody. And then I'll give some other things for you to do. For everybody who doesn't have this, we're about to take action. I'm going to walk you through each step. You're going to put the monthly neighborhood nurture on yourself. You are the client tonight. Okay. You're the homeowner, the buyer, the seller, the friend, the family, it doesn't matter. You're the person with an email address. For those of you who already have done this activity, I'm going to have you actually go to the library and do a search for something you might want, like open houses, or you might look at this Just Looking Nurtures. That seems to be a really popular one with 11,000 downloads. Right. So I'm going to have you look to see there's long-term seller nurtures, long-term buyers, short-term seller. For everybody who, again, has not done the monthly neighborhood nurture, the first step I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you actually go to your library, type in the word monthly, and you're going to see monthly neighborhood nurture. And you're going to click add to smart plan. Okay. By the way, if the download is, I'll call this grayed out, it means you already have it in your smart plans. Okay. Now, then you're going to go to my smart plans. I have so many, I have to search for it. You're going to find it. And all you're going to do is click add a contact. Don't worry, you're all going to take the step in a minute. You're going to find your name. Now, by the way, if your name is not in here, actually, let me see if it updated here. Nope. Okay. So if your name is not in here, who can tell me what you have to do? If you tell me and you're on mute, I don't know what you're doing.
Create an
have-
opportunity or put yourself
was
in
that?
contacts.
Put yourself in contacts. Yep. Then you'd have to go over to contacts. Add yourself. Don't forget to put your name, email, and your address. The monthly neighborhood nurture does not work unless you have an address. Now, the address could be yours. If you're talking to someone like a friend of mine, I know they live in Maryland and I know what county they live in, but I don't know their address. I've never actually been to their house. And they told me once and I didn't write it down. So now I'm embarrassed to ask again. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. Because we see each other a lot and I'm like, ooh, I should probably know their address. I know the vicinity of where they live. So I was able to just kind of pick a place. I picked a town. I picked a neighborhood. Right. So again, I'm going to go back to smart plans. So again, what we're doing right now is that monthly neighborhood. Once you add yourself as a contact, you're going to click add contact. You're going to find yourself. Look at this. I'm in here once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I added myself 4 times in my database. That's funny. You're going to click and literally click add. That's it. You have a contact. You have a neighborhood attached to them. You add them. It is 3 steps. 3 steps. After you put the smart plan in your library, 3 steps. Okay. So I'm going to have each of you add the monthly neighborhood nurture to yourself right now. For those of you who already did this, again, sort through the library. For those of you who don't have access to command, write down these steps. Just so when you do get access, this will be your very first thing to do. Circle it, star, this is my first thing. This shouldn't take but a few minutes. I see a question. Yes, Maria?
Yeah, I have a question. So does that particular smart plan create a content based on the contact address?
Yes, great question. Let me show you exactly what it creates.
So I have a
So
follow-up question after that.
let me actually show you exactly what it creates. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull up one of my, here we go. So I pulled up myself. So this shows that I have, I added neighborhoods to my contact card, right? And I could add anywhere, right? So let's say, somebody give me a place you live.
Dunning, Chicago.
What, Chicago?
Dunning, it's a neighborhood.
How do you spell that?
Dunning.
There you go. All right, I just added that neighborhood. So now what I'm gonna do is when the smart plan is set, this is what the email looks like when they receive it. Well, they get an email saying, you've received a message from Maria so-and-so regarding neighborhood nurture. This is why you send it to yourself. And when they click on it, it sends them this really pretty website looking thing with properties and information on schools and commutes and local neighborhoods. And then it sends them I just noticed, where's my information on here? My information is supposed to be right at the bottom, and it is not. So I need to look into that. Interesting. Okay. But then they can go and they can look things up. This is an active site right here. So they can actually sort through. I need to move Zoom out of the way. Right. So they can sort through the area. They can look at houses. Right. They can do a search. So it's a very interactive site. Now, where the information pulls from for you is it's pulling from two places. One place it's pulling from is in your profile, and as well as in your settings. So there's two profiles. There's my profile, and in settings, there's what's called a marketing profile. I'm not going to get too far in the weeds of marketing profile. If you have a tech trainer at your market center, or a regional tech trainer, or an agent services person, or something like that, they can walk you through exactly to make sure all your profiles and marketing profiles are set up with all your information. This is why when we practice, we always want to practice using our email and using ourselves, because then we can see what everybody else sees and we can see if there's mistakes to correct them. Maria, did that help?
Yes, it did. But that creates a follow-up question for me. So, since this is the case, is there a way for us when we assign those smart plans, can we assign them to, like, let's say, entire database, like add contacts in bulk instead of one by one?
Yeah, so check this out. I love that question. So let's say, okay, so I have 7,282 people in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can do show 500.
Oh, I see.
I can select this top button right here. Select, I'm in the contacts card, by the way. I can select actions, add to smart plan, monthly. I can click select. Now it's going to show me all the people that have missing neighborhoods, meaning they can't get, the smart plan won't work for them. As you can see, I have a lot. Right, so out of 7,000 some people, I have 352 with errors. Actually, that's not that bad. Now, here's two great things I can do. One, I can click export. And what can I do with this? So it's going to export into a file to show me exactly who's missing a neighborhood. What can we do with that information?
Well, we can follow up on it and
How would we
Look at the
follow up on
tax
it?
record.
So we can look at the tax records if we have an address, but if we don't have if we have an address, we're
duh.
not gonna be missing a neighborhood. That's okay. That's okay. So if we don't have an address, we don't even know their neighborhood, or maybe we know their neighborhood, but we forgot to add it. Right? Like, I actually know Allison's neighborhood. I just forgot to put it in here when I added the card because I was moving so fast. So one, I can take this list, sit down for 1 hour one day and just go through name by name, adding neighborhoods, adding the smart plan, adding neighborhood, add a smart plan, add a neighborhood, add a smart plan. It is tedious, but worth it. I'm going to share some examples of how that's worth it in just a minute. Did that help answer your question? Awesome. Great questions. Okay. Has anybody on here while we were talking gone through and added themselves to their monthly neighborhood nurture?
I did it and I got an email already.
That's exactly what I want to hear. It goes that fast. Now, what's going to happen is you are now set up on there where you're going to get an email from yourself. Don't unsubscribe from yourself. Okay. You will get an email every 30 days starting today. For the rest of eternity, unless command makes a change or you unsubscribe. Okay.
It
So-
doesn't have my email address on there, though. No, I
The-
mean, for like, if they wanted to contact me, there's nothing in the email. It has my phone number and but it doesn't have my email address for contact information.
What you'll want to do, and then this is why you're going to send, all of you are going to send yourself something, because you need to spot check what's being sent out for your flyers, for
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah,
What you want to do, and I'm going to say this is an action item I recommend doing either tonight, right after the Zoom, or tomorrow, first thing in the morning, if you have time, is go into both your profile setting, right here, my profile, as well as right here where it says settings. I'll show you where it is. Sometimes I have to click around to find it. Under connect settings, the marketing profile. So again, there's my profile first, then you're going to go to settings, under connect settings, marketing profile. That the marketing profile is where it's pulling almost all the information from. So just, you're going to edit that, make sure it's all showing up there.
okay, thanks.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So
Ask a quick question.
yeah, of course.
Hi, Alana. How are you? Thank you, by
I'm
the way.
great.
I'm just immediately hooked. I have different interests with mailing lists, so this is immediately getting my attention. Do you ask permission, or are you just like, you're going on my mailing list and I'm leaving it for you to unsubscribe?
Okay. So TCPA Act, if you have a phone number for phone calls, and we're not going to get into this, but phone calls and text messages, you need to cross-reference that the do not call list, because those fines are real. A friend of mine just got a large one. Regarding emails, oh, it's fair game. Unless they unsubscribe and then they're off the list. Like, don't resubscribe them. No, I literally, the way I got so many people in my database so fast is I took my entire phone, put it in there. Even people I worked with like way back in the day and haven't talked to. 9 years of coaching soccer, the entire soccer league. Any sort of list I had from my daughter growing up in schools, right, and PTAs. I used to work a job where I was on LinkedIn a lot, so I had tons of LinkedIn connections. You can export your entire LinkedIn connections with email addresses. I threw that right in there too. I just found everyone, right? They will unsubscribe if they don't want to get anything from you. Yes, I love that question. Thank you. Great question. Okay.
Wait, question, Alana.
Yes.
When so a lot of your contacts, you went through LinkedIn, maybe they weren't local, or does it work if outside your area?
Yes, Smart Plans is nationwide.
Okay,
And I think Canada now, but don't quote me on that. I need to double check.
okay.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it is. So absolutely. Like, my brother so I live in Maryland.
Mhm.
By the way, Maryland, DC referrals, love them. Okay. I'm your Maryland, DC connection. My brother lives in California, in La Jolla. My dad lives in Orlando, Florida.
Mhm.
My closest friend lives in North Carolina,
Okay,
and every single one of them are set up on this
okay.
for all their areas. Yep. Because referrals are fantastic. Referrals are you have partnerships. You might not know who they are yet, but you all have partnerships with agents across the globe. If
Well, being new, all I have is referrals right now.
yeah, I would say here's the cool thing about that. There was actually an agent I worked with, and we're gonna get back on Smart Plans, but this story makes sense based on this conversation. So there's an agent I worked with who in her first year was her 6 month in. She's at Target shopping. She's in the line checking out, and she strikes up a conversation with the person, the employee there, and she happens to talk about real estate. Well, the employee's like, oh no, I'm good. Like I bought a house recently. Like I don't need anything. But wait a minute. Do you work in Jamaica? Like, do you have people in Jamaica? And she's like, now this agent actually had no idea, but she's like, absolutely, yes. Say yes and then find out later. So agent left. So she got this agent's, she got the target employee's information. And the sister who lives in Jamaica's information. Agent calls me right after Target and was like, do we have anybody in Jamaica? We found an agent in Jamaica. Turns out the sister wanted to sell a $1.5 million property in Jamaica. She referred it to a Keller Williams agent there and got a very pretty check afterwards for just going to Target, going shopping and saying, hey, so-and-so meet so-and-so. Good luck. Yes. So do not skip anybody just because they don't live right next to you. That was the moral of that story. Hopefully you got that. Hopefully that made sense. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more. Let's talk a little bit more about by the way, if you're still in command, still hooking this up, great. If you're took notes and going to do this later, take action on putting yourself on the SMART plan within 24 hours. Because if you don't take action within 24 hours, you only have a 2% chance of ever doing it. I did not make up that stat. It was told to me by some really smart people out there. So let's talk about other ways you can stay in touch with people. So again, this is all about your leads, the different type of leads, and what you can use to stay top of mind. So the monthly one is, hey, everybody, don't forget I'm in real estate. Okay. But what else can we use? Right? What are other ones? There is this 6-month just looking nurture. Let's take a look at this one together. I haven't actually looked at this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna view steps. And I'm just gonna all right, so this is monthly neighborhood nurture plus a text. By the way, if you don't have Twilio set up in your command, I highly recommend getting it set up. If you don't know how to do that, find I'm sure somebody in your market center or your area, like in your at your Keller Williams office, who can help guide you through it. It usually takes about 15 minutes to get set up. It's not hard at all. But it allows you to auto text. Like I sent a text yesterday to remind people about a training coming up. And I sent a text to, oh my goodness, 600 people. I typed the text, I pasted it in there, I said sent, and it took maybe 3 minutes to send 600 plus texts. See how this gets your time back? 3 minutes to send 600 some texts. Not, let me send it to Alex and let me send it to this person and Maria, right?
Quick question. Do you have to create an account with Twilio and do you have to pay for it?
So yes, you create an account right through command. There's a Twilio setting. You set it right up. It's all linked. Yes, Twilio does cost. Twilio is a totally different company. We have a partnership with them, which is why it's connected in command for us. Right. So there is a charge. If you're just starting out, get this, there's what's called the extra small package. So it's fun. It's extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, it's like t-shirts. So start with the extra small package. I think it's $3 and something a month, but don't quote me on that. It's pretty inexpensive. As you start putting these smart plans on, you're going to find that you really like the automated text. And it will tell you when you're almost out of credits and when you need to upgrade. So like I started on the extra small, now I'm like on the extra large. Like whatever the extra large is. All right, I'm actually going to pull up this one, 8x8 new contact engagement. Okay, so I'm going to add this one. Oh, I already have it. So the 8x8 new contact engagement, this is 8 different touches. Okay, and it repeats multiple different times. So here's what this looks like. I'm going to show it to you. So what this has in here is it has a text going out in the beginning. Then it's going to wait 7 days and it is an email. Then it's going to wait 7 days and it's going to send me a task reminder in my command to call them. Right? I'm going to tell you how beneficial that is in just a minute. Then another 7 days, a text, another 7 days. It adds to the monthly neighborhood nurture, another 7 days, a reminder to call them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. And you can either end it there, or if you want to add a repeat, you can just repeat it over again. Meaning it repeats the exact same thing. Just make sure any smart plan you use, you click edit, because you don't know the person who created these, you don't know if they put in their name, their phone number, if that agent put in their market center information. So you do want to edit it, right? Like this one doesn't need any editing. It has everything ready, set, go. It's literally send. If you want to, like for me personally, I like to customize mine with my name, my phone number, like my personal phone number on there. Because the Twilio number is not your personal number. You have to, they give you like a fake number. So I would edit this and I'd probably add in here my contact information, right? I might edit this and add something in here. Okay. But let me ask this question. Let's say all of you, every one of you, have 200 people, the magic 201 actually. Does anybody know why 201 is the magic number?
I think research has shown that when you have at least 201 contacts that you follow up with, you're more likely to succeed.
When you have, okay, so I like that. When you have, thank you, is it Michael? When you have 201 contacts, you're more likely to succeed. We're going to put a number around that. A study was done, and it was a 2-year-long study on top producing agents in their databases. And what the study results came out with, and this was nationwide, and it came out saying agents with 201 plus. So basically, if you had 201 or 1,000, okay, are on average, when actually working it, on average, making $119,000 a year through real estate. Okay. So if you're like, well, how do I make the magical 100,000 in real estate? How do I quit my job to be able to do that? When you put 201 people in your database, meaning you put them, it's fun to do this on Zoom because I constantly have to move pictures around to like get to where I want to go. So when you put 201 people right in your contacts, which by the way, you can do within 5 minutes by just using the app on your phone, command app on your phone, clicking import, and it shoots all your contacts right in your command. You can clean it up when they're in there. Just get them in there, right? When I first put them in there, I had my Chinese restaurant. I got my pizza place in here. I had people I didn't even know who they were in there. As you're going through and calling people and talking to people, you can delete them. You can archive them, right? So yes, when you have 201 people, you're more likely to succeed. I like how you said that. Absolutely. If you don't have anybody in your database, you're less likely to succeed. Kind of the opposite of that. And then you get the 201 people in here and we need to engage with them. So going back to what I was about to say, let's say you all connect with 50 people this week, 10 people a day, 5 days a week, 50 people. Out of those 50 people, their laws of numbers, there will be a minimum of 5 people who need your help in real estate with buying or selling or investing by the end of this year or beginning of next year. How do you remember to stay in touch with them? So let's say it's a seller who says, we want to sell next June when our kids graduate and we're moving out of state. How do you personally, well, let's ask this one. Are you going to remember? You talked to 50 people this week. One of them said, I want to move next June when our kids graduate. Do we as busy people remember a year later somebody would talk to a year before who said that? Say no. No, shake your head no. No.
But we have smart plans.
Right? So let's put them on something, right? So if you have a seller, you might type in the word seller, okay? And you might find things like, oops. I'm going to say long-term. So long-term follow-up, long-term buyer. I wouldn't use that for a seller because it says buyer. Okay. You have a Spanish speaker. We got that in here. Long-term nurture call reminder. So this is literally what this one is it literally reminds you, don't forget to call them. Don't forget to call them. Right. I can type in the word seller, see what comes up. Right. So here, long-term seller nurture plan 1, part 2. So here's an action item that I recommend doing. Highly recommend doing. 1, monthly neighborhood nurture. That's your go-to. That is your go-to because you can put every single person, you have an email address on that, no matter if they're looking to buy or sell. Because what that one does is simply say, hey, I'm in real estate every month, right? Just reminds them. 2, find something for buyers and something specifically for sellers. Look at the steps, put them in your smart plan library, your personal smart plan list. So you have that ready to go. You have ones for buyers, ones for sellers. I would say also do the anniversary one, right? Home anniversary. If you want to go as far as doing the birthday one, there's a friend of mine who's in real estate here in Maryland, and she spent one whole year, literally a year. She started in January of 2 years ago. 2022. She started in January, and every day she did, I think it was 10 people. I forget the exact number, so we're just going to use number 10. It sounds right. She went into her contacts alphabetically, brought up Facebook because Facebook has birthdays. And she looked people up on Facebook to find their birthday, add their birthday to their contact card, and add them to their birthday smart plan. And she did 10 of those a day. It took her a good year to get through her entire database. But guess what? After that year is done and everybody is set up, now it's just remembering anybody new you put in. You just need to remember to do that. Once you set it, you forget it. Let the system do the lifting. Right? She did that in 2022. And now she never has to do it again, except for the new people she puts in. Yes, Lori.
You're so inspiring the way you break things down to manageable pieces. I think all trainers and teachers probably already know that that's the key to success. But having said that, you did go through it fairly quickly. I do have $1 million home that I'm showing, and it will close on Monday. And I am sick to my stomach that I'm not sending out enough invites. So since we won't get this video until next week, there might have been a step I missed, but I won't hold up the class. You kept calling it your smart card or something card when you were adding the smart plan, the monthly neighborhood nurture. But
Contact card?
Say that again.
A contact card. So when you put a contact in and you open it up, I call this a contact card because it's like everything about the person.
Every contact is a contact card, you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
It's like a
okay.
big- I'm aging myself
so-
right now. It's like a big Rolodex, just in a system.
Oh, okay, that's a great way of thinking about it. I like that. God, I like everything you do, Alana. Is there a place that I can Google it to get up-to-date information on how to do a smart plan and,
Yes.
okay,
I'm going to show all of you right now.
great. Thank
This
you.
is one of your greatest resources you can go to besides a local person at Market Center. Ooh, that did not come up. Why are you not coming up? Here it is. It is answers.kw.com. That is a site you should bookmark because you can literally look up anything and it will give you step-by-step everything. Videos, guides on command, your command app, all of it. You can ask questions. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So let's dive back into, just look at the time because I want to switch gears for designs here for a second. All right. So I'm going to switch gears here for a minute, and go to opportunities. But I want to share this before I do. So I mentioned that 2019, I set it was about 2,100 people up on a smart plan. So every single month, now people unsubscribed. I think I now have, I don't know, 1,700 of them still on it, right? Every single month, they get something in their email reminding them that Alana's in real estate. And what it does is they open the email, they probably go, oh, look, there she is again, click delete. Oh, look, there she is again, click delete. That's what you want, by the way. What the outcome of that is, or what that result is, should I say, is almost every quarter. Every so often has been every month, but almost every quarter, I get a text message from somebody random who I probably don't even know, saying they're ready to buy and sell. And when I look up to see, how do I know this person? How do they connect with me? Or I ask the person, like, hey, how did you get my information? Every single time they say, oh, I get your emails. Now, again, said it in 2019. It is now 2024. I have not touched it since. The only thing I do is when I put a new person on, I put it on there. So that's also the thing you need to remember is when you put a new person in, so let's say you all talk to 10 people tomorrow, you put 10 in your database as contacts, you put all 10 on some sort of smart plan. Right? Whether that is a smart plan for you to remember to call them, which by the way, quarterly call plan is a great one. Whether it's a smart plan to send them emails, whether they're looking to buy in the future and it's a long-term buyer follow-up plan. Something is better than nothing. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears. I'm gonna go actually down to opportunities. Now we're not gonna spend time on opportunities, not tonight anyways, but I do want to point out one thing. You might have already seen this in a previous class. I believe you already did. But it's so crucial that it needs to be mentioned again. So for some of you, this will be a repeat. For some of you, this will be new. Here's the true definition of opportunities. 90% of agents use this wrong. They use the opportunities incorrectly. The way 90% of agents use this is when they have something under contract to get paid. Opportunities, I mean, yes, you use this to get paid. Opportunities is I like to call it this. Actually, it was funny when I got in labs, I sent feedback to the people building the technology, trying to get them to change it to this title, and they laughed at me. Like literally, they like sent me back laughter. Okay, emojis. I think opportunity should be called the I don't want to lose you list. Because again, if each week your focus is to find future business, trust me, as you're finding future, you're going to find now, it just pops up. Okay. And 5 people tell you that they want to buy or sell between the end of this year and beginning of next year. and you have 7,000 people eventually in your database, how are you going to remember that? How will you remember a person said November, December, January, February, March to buy? Right? Where if you go and you put them in here and you say, here's a listing, I'll put myself in here. Maybe I won't put myself in here. Where am I? Why am I not coming up? Right? You put someone in here. Estimate time frame, whatever, 6 months. Right? I don't know what my commission rate will be. I'll just throw a number in there. Right? And now I am nurturing them. When you do that, here's how you use this. Every single day, you can click on opportunities and you look at it and you ask yourself this question. The question you're going to ask yourself is this growing or is it shrinking? If it's growing, you're going to see your potential, you're all seeing opportunity right now. You're going to see your probable and potential income. You're going to see numbers in Cultivate appointments for everything. By the way, no, I don't work with 65 buyers. I have a team that handles all that because that would drive me crazy. You're going to see these numbers grow, which means you're doing something right. If you look at this and it's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, etc., what does that tell you?
You need to lead generate.
That's it. That's it. Either you forgot to put things in opportunities. Okay, maybe that happens. You might have things, you might have just forgot to put them in here. Or most likely, you're not doing the activities to find those future people. Right? Like all the people out there doing whatever they're doing. So I just want to point that out. This is the this is the list that shows you, are you growing your business or not?
So when you put them in the cultivate bucket, does that encourage you to just monitor the ones that you need to cultivate? Is
Yeah,
that the
exactly. So I
purpose
can
of
click
putting them there?
on, yep, so I can click on cultivate. And okay, so now some of these are fake because I do a lot of trainings. So like Cookie Road is fake, by the way. That'd be a great road to live on though. So for example, here you go, Jeffrey and Shelley. I'm looking at this right now and I'm like, oh my God, I have not connected with them in a month. I have not talked to them in a month. By the way, the greatest strategy you can use for follow-up, you guys want to, I know this is technology night, but I like to give the little nuggets if that's okay. The greatest strategy you can use for follow-up that is absolutely golden is when someone tells you they have a real estate need between 0 to 4 months, you set the appointment. When someone tells you they have a real estate need 5, 6, whatever months to 12 months out, even 14 months out if you want to, you touch base with them every single month, right? You call them. So this, by the way, Jeffrey and Shelley are not looking for 12 months. But I put them on a 9 months. Who wants to guess why? When someone says I'm looking to sell or buy in 12 months, what's the actual time frames?
Probably shorter. They just are waiting to see what other things are selling and looking at the neighborhood or the sales.
Absolutely, it's shorter. Here's the rule of thumb. Every buyer, whatever time frame they give you, cut it in half. If they say 6 months, they're buying in 3. If they say 12 months, they're buying in 6. If they say 12 months and you follow up in 9 months, the conversation is going to sound like this. Oh my God, yeah, Kevin, thanks for reaching back out to me. We just bought like 2 months ago. We're so excited. You'll be like, oh shoot, I missed it. Because you followed up too late. Every buyer cut in half. Every seller is usually about 2/3 of the time. Right? So Jeffrey and Shelley wanted 12 months, meaning it's 6 months, which means every single month they are hearing my voice. I am calling them and or texting them every month just to see how their summer is, follow up, checking on their kids. I got notes on their whole family. They got 2 dogs, blah, blah, blah. Right? They're going on vacation in August. So I'm going to call them in September and find out how vacation was. You are building a solid relationship. So you can be there for when they're ready. Kevin, you have your hand raised. Thank you.
So the opportunities, and I'm going to go by what my wife does. She's got a board that she has like A, B, C, and D. So basically, all of those people that are on that board should be somewhere, and they should be in that opportunities with the timeline that she's looking at for them.
100% yes. I love boards. I love visuals. I have you can't see it right now because it's literally like in front of me. I have this huge whiteboard in my office and there are names all over it. But there's something said for leveraging technology and looking at it daily and getting in that habit of seeing that money and seeing your potential and again, just not losing anybody. Because think about it. If you have, let's say over the next 30 days, you all focused on getting 5 new nurtures a week. So you added 20 people who said they have a real estate need sometime between 6 to 12 months from now. I doubt your wife is writing all 20 of those names on the board. Usually when they go on the board, it's like you had an appointment, they signed with you, it's an actual business. This is your future, right? This is how you go from the roller coaster of like, yay, I had a closing to nothing, nothing, nothing. Yay, another closing to 3 closings a month, 4 closings a month, 5 closings a month, 3, 6, 9, 12. My friend had 23 one month. 23 closings in a month. That's insane.
So that realistically, that's how you keep your pipeline filled.
That's exactly right. That is how you keep your pipeline filled. So you're constantly having business come in. That is the only way to get off the roller coaster of real estate. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Okay, we're going to switch gears. So again, the opportunities, I just want to dabble in a little bit because I find that we can talk all about lead generation and contacts and smart plans and putting people on smart plans. But if we don't, we talk to more people with future needs than we do today needs. And if we don't put them somewhere, we're going to lose them. Right? So have a good night. All right.
Could I interject or ask a question just quickly, please?
Yeah.
And I see somebody else had the same thing. So doing the smart plan tests, they've gone to junk mail. Is there, like, how do we get around that? Or is that just, we have to rely on the customer to not send it to junk?
So yeah, sometimes things do, especially if it's your first email you're sending from a system. Like the more emails you send from a system, the less it goes to junk, I find. I don't know that part of the email world boggles my mind.
Okay.
I don't understand that. I've not figured it out yet.
And then, and I did 2 of them, just testing 2, and one of them just never showed up, period. And I know the email is correct because it's my own personal one. So I was just wondering if there were any thoughts about that.
If you don't receive it within, it can take up to 24 hours for this. So if you don't receive it within 24 hours, delete the smart plan, re-add it, see what happens.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Kevin? And then
So the thing on junk mail, it all depends upon the security settings on your mailbox. So if it's Gmail, it depends upon your security settings. If you want to ensure that people get your stuff, if you've never contacted them before, that's kind of tough. But if you have, then those people, you say, hey, you have to add this email in as a contact so that it does not go to junk mail or spam.
Thank you. Love that. All right, Maria.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to that because that's what comes from my experience as I collect emails data for newsletters for my other business. I've noticed that if people provide you with emails that are like, like corporation emails, like business emails, a lot of times the companies are filtering those out and they are ending up in the spam emails, or they're just being totally blocked. So that's something to keep in mind. Maybe ask those clients for personal emails. There is more, the chance is bigger, I guess, from my experience, that it's gonna reach them.
Yeah, that's very, very helpful. I'll add to what you just shared, and that's also a great way to reach out to someone, right? So let's say that you go and you put your friends and family on this first, right? And then you make touch points. You call them or text them. I like calls. People like, I mean, come on, let's just voice to voice is never going to go away. So you make a call to someone, and maybe the call is like, hey, just touching base. How have you been? What plans for the summer? I called a care call, right? By the way, you might have received an email from me, just sharing information on what's happening in the market out there, just keep people posted, right? Might have gone to your spam or your junk, whatever, take a look at that. Right, so it's just a friendly little reminder to like, hey, look at your junk, right? Wow, the sun is getting bright in here. I need to move desks. All right. So we're gonna switch gears. My office has these huge windows, which at times is really great, but at times it's not, especially when you're on a Zoom. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna dive over to designs, right? So here's the thing. Smart Plans is meant to give you time back in your schedule. Smart Plans is your personal assistant. It's automated emails, automated text to take the heavy lifting off. We also need to have a combination of, what do you want your strategies to be to stay top of mind, to build stronger relationships, to provide value, right? Are you not just using emails and Smart Plans, but are you using social media? Are you connecting with people on social media? When you have clients or potential clients, are you finding them on social media? Unless you don't want them seeing your feed, and then don't do that. Maybe you don't want them looking at your social media. So really making sure you are using every platform you possibly can in today's age to stay in touch with people. So the next thing is designs. All right. We're going to create a design right now. Now, here's what's cool about design. You can do so many things with this. You're able to actually create social posts, print, emails, even videos. Actually, let's see this. The video did not work earlier for me today when I tested this out. So we're going to try this out. If it doesn't work. So I'm going to send, oh, what was that Chicago neighborhood? Was it Dunning, Chicago? Yep, there you go. There we go. Dunning, Chicago. Next. It gives a bunch of information. I don't know anything about it, so I'm just going to leave it at this. I'm going to put my information in here, my market center. I'm going to click next. Okay, notice how I didn't type anything. I just typed a neighborhood. That's all I did, and I clicked next. So let's see if this works. It didn't earlier. It kept circling forever and a day. So hopefully this works. What this is doing right now is, let's see if it actually plays. Do you guys see it on the screen? Okay. So how long did it take to make that video?
30 seconds, maybe?
At that, I mean, I think the longest portion of it is waiting for it to load. Here's the thing, you can save that, and then you can use it on, if you're like, oh, I don't really know what to post on social media. Save the video, throw it on your social media account, or save it and send it through an email to all of your people you know who live in that area, or even in further areas, right?
And what was that process again, please?
Oh, yep, absolutely. So we're gonna go to create design. And we just clicked, all we did was click on video. That's it, just click on video, right? Right now, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go to, I'm gonna take it to print, right? So there are, by the way, there are so many things in here, social, print, email. If you are stuck, if you're in like analysis paralysis, and like, well, you know, I can't work with a buyer yet because I don't know what to say, or I don't know what to send or post on social media. Play with this. Get in here and literally click and play, because everything in here is already created for you. You just have to customize it with your picture and your name and email and information. That's it. That's it. You're not creating anything. You don't have to, I mean, okay, in print, there is a newsletter that you can technically get all involved in and create, but I don't recommend that in the beginning. Okay. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to click, so I'm clicking, let me just take a step again, create design. I'm clicking print. I'm clicking next. Now I have to wait for the screen to load, which always takes a little bit, because there are about 10,000 designs in here, by the way. 10,000. You can get lost in here for a full, to learn designs. I actually put a dumb movie on in the background that I've seen 10 times, and just sat on my couch with this and a glass of something that wasn't lemonade, and just clicked and played, right? That is the greatest way to, you can't break it. It's the greatest way to learn it. So in here, again, you can see for sale, just listed, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm going to go to is, I'm going to actually go to, I'm going to start with buyer, right? So I'm going to click on buyer presentation. By the way, all of these are the same. They just have a different color and look to them. So let's pick something that we like. I'm just going to go with this one right here, just because it's right in the middle. I just clicked on it and clicked use. What it's doing is opening it up in what's called a design center. The design center is where you are able to manipulate anything, right? You can also view all the pages, right? So like, for example, let's say that I'm working with a new buyer and his name is Kevin Lyons. And I have a buyer strategy session with Kevin tomorrow. I'll go in here, I'll throw in Kevin Lyons, right? For sake of time, I'm not going to do this, but I'd put my, you know, obviously your, for compliance purposes, your brokerage logo there. And then what this has in it, right? Now, for me personally, I might actually delete this page and then use this page as the home, as the cover. By the way, the only reason I'm using Kevin's name, thank you, Kevin, is because on Zoom, the way the squares are lined up and the little Brady Bunch squares is you're like right next to, you're like right in the center of the screen. So that's why your name is coming up here. All of your information, of course, your contact information. And then as you scroll through the different pages, you don't have to type anything. And if you don't like one of the pages, simply delete it. You don't have to use all of them. I will never bring 29 pages to a person. I don't think, this might be my own personal opinion. It probably is, and that's okay. So I'm just sharing a personal opinion right now. I don't think people have an attention span for 29 pages. Not in today's age of TikTok, all right? I think people want a few key things and not to feel overwhelmed. So I'd probably go through this and say, what pages, if I was a buyer, what pages would I like? Right? If you were the buyer, what pages would you like? This is actually my favorite page. Your needs come first. But notice how you don't have to type anything. It's already here. Everything's here for you. Building your preference profile. Your home wish list. By the way, if you don't like the word wish, you can change it. Your home, how do I say, wants and needs, right? And I can change the font. I'll move that around there. There we go. For any perfectionists on this call, which I guarantee you, there's a good number of you that are perfectionists, give yourself a time limit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay? They're not going to not hire you because this wasn't fully aligned with the picture. Make sure you don't make spelling mistakes though. Because attention to detail for that is kind of important. Now, what can we do this with? Let's say this. Let's say you have the buyer packet here, right? All of you get this buyer packet prepared and ready to go, meaning in your design center. You even print out a copy of it and download it. How can that help you? Let's say you all do that by tomorrow. By tomorrow, you all go into your design center and you download and print out your buyer packet. The only thing that's going to change on it is literally the name of the person. How can this help you? What can you do with this?
Well, you can actually use it with friends or family or other people, and you can actually go through and practice presenting the packet.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you can take a friend or family and be like, hey, pretend to be a buyer. Let's go to a house. Or, hey, pretend to be a buyer. Let's sit at a coffee shop.
Yes.
Love that. Love, love, love that. That is, for those on the call last night, I am a broken record. All right. I love saying the exact same things. Any agent you talk to who has worked with me for over a year, if you ask any of them, what does Alana say all the time? It's the word practice. It's talk to 10 people a day. And I always say, stay the course. Those are my 3 sayings. I think I've said them 30 plus times today. If I had a penny, I'd be rich. So yeah, I love that. Take this out, practice with someone. Grab a friend, grab a family member. All right. What else can you do with this? So you have this ready. Who on here is brand new and has not worked with a buyer yet? How can this help you? You get this ready by tomorrow. How do you feel?
Oh my gosh, I think it automatically gives you a level of confidence because it's got the materials that you need. And then, like Kevin was saying, you just need to practice. Even if you don't have somebody to practice with, you've got the script, so just do it. You could record yourself, go back, look at it, that kind of thing. I mean, there's ways around it. But I think that this ensures that you're covering everything, or at least you had the opportunity to. And if you pull some elements out for other discussions, that's okay too.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So it gives you that confidence, right? Typically as an agent, our confidence builds when we have closings. That's actually when our confidence truly builds, is when we have those settlements, right? Unfortunately, to get to the settlement table, we have to have appointments. To get appointments, we have to talk to people. To talk to people and set appointments, we need to fake confidence. I'm going to just say it that way. We need to build confidence. I don't like the word fake. We need to build confidence in different ways. I'll say
Well,
that.
I think this gives you an easy way to come across polished, even though it's your first time. It's not going to look like you just put it together yourself. Like it looks polished, it's stylized, and it can just help exude a professional presence. So I think it's a no-brainer. I do have a question about the video that you showed us a minute ago that we created.
Yep.
How do you get it to somebody? I created it and I've got it in my library, but how do I actually send it to a customer? I missed that part.
So let's go back there in just a second. I'll show you how to do that. in just-
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Yep, nope. Let's show everybody how to do that in just a minute. So here's the thing with this. Once you have this and you delete the pages you don't want in there, like for example, I don't put in commonly used terms because honestly, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can just find pages you like. If you want the whole thing, use the whole thing. What's great is up top, you can download it, saves as a PDF. You can print it. You can share it. Or you can simply save it for future use. Right? You can also, if you're on Teams, you can collaborate with other members. I'm just gonna, oops, I didn't want to download it. I actually just want to save it. So I'm just gonna click done. I'm gonna click save. So when it saves, when you go into designs, all these, so if you haven't created any design, when you click on designs, this screen will be blank. The reason why you're seeing so many things here is because I make a lot of things. So that, as you can see, I have 109 things in here. I also forgot to rename it, meaning I have to hunt for it. So I should have renamed it. Buyer guide, buyer strategy session, buyer appointment, whatever you want to rename it. The only person who's seeing that name is you. Okay, Barbara, yes, I see a question.
Yes, I had a question. Can you put this, make this into like a flip chart and then, like if the pages flip and then you can send it to somebody on an email or something? How would you do that?
Oh, great question. There is a way. We're getting all into technology here. So unfortunately, I can't demonstrate this on my computer I'm on right now, because I'm on a computer that doesn't have it access. There's a way when you download it, it downloads as a PDF. You can throw it into like oh, what is it called? Oh, I'm drawing a blank on the name. Like you can put it on your iPad or something, and they should be able to like scroll through. There's also
There's a presentation program for the iPad. and
thank you,
There's a
presentation program.
right. Yeah.
Yes. So there are ways to do it. I would say if you're not sure how, get with someone at your Mark Center or someone locally who knows technology, or if you have an iPad, go to the Apple Store, they'll show you how. That's how I learn a lot of my things. I just take tons of classes. I see Christopher, and then I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. Is it Melena?
That is perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, where'd Christopher go? Did we lose him?
Here. I'm still
Oh,
here.
Oh, excellent. Yes.
No, I was just, I told my productivity coach last week, I'm brand new to this, that I feel like I'm in an airplane with a lot of really cool gadgets, but I don't even know where the start button is. And one of the things he talks about is just asking people who manages your real estate. And that's scary, knowing the questions they might come back at you with, you don't know the answer to. So a lot of these things you're showing us, because you were asking how could we use it, I mean, it could be talking points or things we could use to
Absolutely.
start a conversation, so we don't have that deer in the headlights look.
Yeah, 100%, right? I mean, it is when you go, and by the way, action item 24 hours, go into designs, get the buyer. I say the buyer one and then go back into the listing one. Print out both of those presentations for you. And actually just read through it. Just sit there with a highlighter, sit there with a folder, however you like to take notes or whatever. Read through that whole thing, because it's going to give you questions you can ask them. It's going to give you what the process is. Right? So if someone's like, well, what's the process? Well, shoot, you can just read off the piece of paper. You don't have to memorize it, just read it. Right? So I can't, I love that you said that because I can't stress that enough. Just take the time to go in, print these out and read them. Because it's going to give you that boost of like, oh, okay. And I will add this, and I'm going to come to the next question for Christopher and anybody else who is feeling the same way, because it's a very normal feeling. And when you're, until you have your first closing, you're going to feel uncomfortable. It just is what it is. There's no other way around it. You're not going to know everything, by the way. 30 years later, you're still not going to know everything. And right now, everything's changing. So I'm still learning, right? I just learned something completely new today. And I'm like, I need to change how I'm having certain conversations because of something new I learned here in Maryland. That just happened yesterday. So any question someone asks you that you're unsure of the answer of, there is nothing wrong with saying to a person, wow, Christopher, great question. I'm going to write that down right now. If I'm in front of you, I want you to see me write it down. If I'm on the phone, I'm going to tell you I'm writing it. Hey, I'm going to write that down. I want to check on something real quick. And I want to make sure I get you the most updated information. It's about 2:00 right now. I should have that to you by the end of today. Is that okay? Or I should have that to you by tomorrow morning. Does that work? There's the thing. Whatever time frame you give, go find somebody. If you have a coach, great. Go find somebody, get the answer, call them back and whatever. Like if you say tomorrow morning, call them back tonight. If you say I'll call you by 8, call them by 6. They don't care how much you know. They care how much you care. There's a whole different saying to that. It sounds so much better than I said out right now, but I'm just using that one. All right, Milena.
When I went into the design area, I clicked on to create or just a listing, but just a listing present, just to do it. It says you're not a part of this workspace. What does that mean?
Are you on a
Do
team?
you know? No.
Huh. Hold on. Let's take a
But the
quick-
thing is, it's funny you should ask that question because on my command, it has me as
Does it have your name and another name as a drop down?
well, it has MC 0844 coaching team A, and then it has
Okay.
my name beside that. So I don't know.
Yeah, what you'll need to do, there's a setting that whoever your coach is just needs to go in and change. There's a permission setting that I'm a coach, I use the same thing. So there's a permission setting that the coach just needs to go in and update for you.
But I don't have a coach.
Go to your MCA, they can change it.
So I'll reach out to my market
Yeah,
center.
your MCA, there's a setting in the back end that is not
Okay.
allowing you. It's kind of reading it as if you're on a team, and some rainmakers of teams create everything for the team to use
I
and
see.
don't give you
Okay.
permission to do it yourself. So they need to,
Okay.
yeah, they just need, MCA should be able to change that.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up, because just in case anybody else here has that thing going on. So, oops, I was actually going back a step. Let me go back here. All right, so somebody asked about the video. Just try to, come on, Zoom, take me back. There we go. So somebody asked about the video, right? So let's go back to the video. Let's go back to Chicago, everybody. Next, save. I love how fast it is. Like it's just save. All right, so we saved this video. So what we can use this video for, number one, if I click on share on, if you have your social media accounts connected to Command, you can connect your Instagram, your Facebook to Command in the settings. I can share on social from here. So if I pull this up, it will pull up my social media account. You can use in what's called a campaign. Now I'm not going to go too far into campaigns because that is a whole nother session that we have. But campaigns is where you can attach it to an email and mass email it out. You can create a Facebook ad with it, actually a paid ad using this to try to attract buyers. You can download it and it downloads to your computer to be able to attach to whatever you want to attach it to. Right? So maybe I might want to download it and I might want to text this to people. Right? Or send it from my personal KW email address. I might attach it to different emails there. Right, so again, what I did is you save it and then you can click on these and it downloads. You can use campaigns, you can share on social. Oops, I don't want to open it. Come on. I'm not opening it. There we go. Right. Selecting it lets you delete it. I think I'll keep it in here just to hang out with Chicago. So I'm not sure, I forget who asked that question, but hopefully that showed you a few ways. So again, I just hovered over it. So if you hover over anything, you'll see these 3 dots. And whenever you see 3 dots anywhere in command, they give you extra options. Whenever you see, when you're on your command app or your consumer app on your phone, your KW consumer app on your phone, there's always 3 dots at the bottom of each of those. And those 3 dots give you a lot of extra options. Right? So whenever you're somewhere and there's 3 dots in it with Keller Williams technology, click the 3 dots. You'll find so many fun things. Okay, we have about 15 minutes. So I just kind of want to summarize a few things that we went through, talk about the action steps I highly recommend taking, right? And then open up for a few questions. So summarization, we went through smart plans and the importance of smart plans for emails and text to automate your life. Let's just call it that, to automate your time, right? Monthly neighborhood nurture is the top one. 8x8 follow-up, that's a great one. Quarterly call plan, another great one. That's actually an email that's going to come out to all of you with the recordings. It won't come to all the recordings, so you're not getting until Sunday. I'm sorry. But one of the part of that email is going to be an attachment of some most frequently used smart plans. Right. So if you're like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. There's 10,000 of these in here. You can just use what I send you and just start there. So using smart plans to stay in touch and stay engaged, because the majority of people you contact will need your help next year, end of this year or next year. Then you find people who are ready next year. Where do we put them so we don't lose them?
Opportunities.
Yes, the opportunities, the I don't want to lose you list. Absolutely. Okay. Then we have designs. Now in designs, play with it. There's so many things: social, video, print, emails. I recommend starting with either social or print. Okay. The one thing I do recommend starting with, if you have not done it yet, is this week, preferably within the next 24 hours. So you're more likely to do it. Go into designs, go into print. Okay, create design and print. That's where it's located in the print button. And find the buyer presentation, download that, and find the listing presentation and download that. And then just spend the weekend looking it over. Spend the next few days just reviewing it, right? What pages do you like? What pages don't you like? What do you want to take out of it? So you can have one sitting there ready. So when Christopher lands that first listing on Monday coming up, yes, you're going to be scared. That's why you get coaches and people to help you. Yes, that's okay. You're going to be nervous. Your first one, you're always going to be nervous. Your first 3 are nerve-wracking. But you're going to feel more confident because you're going to have that packet with you and you're going to have read it. Right? So we got smart plans, we have opportunities, we have designs. let's open this up. We have about 10 minutes left, or 11 minutes left. Let's open this up for some questions.
I was looking, I'm actually looking through the listing presentations right now, and there's 5 or 6 of them in there. Is there a specific one we should target?
Oh, great question. So when you click on listing presentations, just like the buyer one, they're all the exact same. They just have a different cover look.
Okay.
Yep. Whichever one looks good to you, click on it.
Thank you.
Good question. Yeah, Barbara, I see your hand.
Yeah, I wondered, just when you talk about the buyer's presentation, is that when you meet the buyer and then invite them to for your first meeting, and then you know, sit with them and then you just go over the presentation? Because you have a lot of buyers that they want to see a house, they'll call you and ask you to go see a property. You know what I mean?
Yes. So great question. I'm going to give you an opinion right now from top producers. Okay. This is a nationwide top producer opinion, as well as my own opinion. Don't be a Pop-Tart agent. Here's what I mean by that. So I love Pop-Tarts. Okay. Brown sugar is my favorite. Pop-Tart agent means you put it in the toaster and buyer calls you and is like, oh my God, Barbara, I want to go see a house. You're like, Pop, let's go see a house. Oh, let's go see another house. So you're just driving around seeing houses. That's all you're doing, just driving around seeing houses. And then you're wondering as an agent why they're not picking one. What you actually want to do now, you won't be able to do this 100% of the time. Some buyers, and definitely in certain markets where houses are going in like the same day, like 2020, we kind of couldn't do this. So I'm going to say this, it won't be 100% of the time that you do it. But you want to try as much as possible to set what's called a buyer strategy session. A buyer strategy session is where you say, hey, let's schedule some showings for tomorrow night. Prior to that, what I'd like to do is I want to actually sit down with you at a coffee shop right nearby. Find a coffee shop that has Wi-Fi. Coffee shop nearby, and you sit with them for a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. I usually do 30 to 45, right? And in that session, you are really finding out what are their wants, what are their needs, what are their top 3 items. You're getting so much information in detail. Why is it important? So when you have a strong buyer strategy session, you should be able to show 3 to 6 homes and they choose one. If you show more than 6 homes and they do not choose one of them, okay, disclaimer, unless they're from out of state and they don't know the area. If you show a buyer 6 homes and they don't choose one, either 1, they're not motivated, or 2, you miss something from what they're really looking for. So you need to go back to the drawing board and find out what it is.
And you get a relationship with them, right? So
strong relationship. Yeah, that's the key. You're showing your value.
and
Right.
that goes for open house when you meet people at open house as well, correct?
Oh yeah, open houses, you're there representing the seller. If you are hosting an open house, you are representing that seller at the open house. Every state has different legalities of what you can and can't talk about with buyers there, so I'm not going to get into that because we're all way too many locations on the Zoom. So check with your broker. But any buyer you meet in open house, I'm not simply going to say, oh, this isn't your house. Okay, let me know when you find something. I'm going to say, hey, I love meeting with this open house. Let's sit down. How about tomorrow over a cup of coffee? Or as one of my coworkers likes to say, lemonade, because he doesn't drink coffee. Let's go get some lemonade. Okay. I see Nicole and then Sonia. So Nicole?
I just had a really quick question. My question was regarding the TCPA guide. Where would I have access to look at that to make sure that I'm not contacting anyone from the do not call list?
So there is actually a national, if you Google, so there are a lot of companies that do this. So I'm going to give you one example, and then I highly recommend talking to whoever your local broker is, or team leader. But if you Google national do not call list, there's a way. Hold on. I'm gonna ask people, there we go. There's actually a way to, it's tedious, but take numbers, run it through it. There's also companies that will do it for you that you can pay. Sometimes there's a company called Fiverr where you can run a bunch of numbers through a person there. The person there will run a bunch of numbers for you and make sure, scrub them for you. But yeah, reach out to your local broker and find out that information. Don't get in trouble. Great question. Sonia.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. My question was going back to the social media postings. You're saying if I have my Facebook linked with command and I do a post, does it automatically go into my Facebook, or do I have to kind of somehow take it from command and incorporate it?
If you have attached social media through settings in command, so in your
Yes.
settings feature, if you have all that attached, it should share directly to your social media from command.
Okay, so I don't have to do any additional from there to make it show up on my Facebook?
I'm going to say typically no. The reason why I say typically no is when it comes to our social media being attached to command, they tend to like to make changes. So I might say one thing tonight, and then you get in there a month later or 2 weeks later and they made a change. And so
Got it. Okay.
usually you can share it and it will literally bring it to your Instagram or Facebook or whatever you're sharing on, and then let you type in whatever you want to type in with it and just post.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So any other questions? And while some of you are raising your hand or coming off mute or putting it in the chat box, for those on here last night, I am going to ask for a favor yet again. So I am a National Keller Williams University certified trainer. I'm going to ask for your help. By the way, this is the wrong title. I just forgot to change the name on the slide. If you can go to kwueval.com, it will only take you like 45 seconds. You're going to put in your region, put in virtual, and then the actual name of this class you're going to pick is, let me find this here. It is a technology class, and actually we're going to pick the follow-up class. And they change the names on me, which they do sometimes. So what I'm going to have you do is scroll all the way down the list and pick course not in dropdown. Okay. Course not in dropdown. And then you're going to type in the name, Mastering Engagement. Then it's going to click to the next button. And while I love fives, they're amazing, of course. Please, I love all your feedback. I do read it. I don't see any names attached to it. But that is my goal, is to constantly improve my skill as a trainer, to lead more of these classes and be asked to lead more of these classes to continue up my certification. So I really appreciate it. Okay, while you're doing that, I see a few more hands raised. Is it Kevin, I believe?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I did not a question, but more of a statement. So on Apple products and everything like that, your presentation that you use is a thing called Keynote. With Microsoft, it's going to be PowerPoint. So if you can figure out how to transfer whatever you pull out of command for your stuff and you want to put it into a presentation format, those are the two things. Apple, and then Google's got one as well. If obviously you got Gmail, you've got there's a presentation product in there as well. So those are the three big ones that you can use to transfer that data into a presentation type format.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Kevin, can I ask a favor?
Yes.
Could you shoot me an email with that little list so I can add it to the email
Yes.
we'll send out with the recordings? There'll be some attachments.
Yes.
I want to just add some
Yes.
notes to that to really help people.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, about 1 minute left. Are there any other questions? Again, thank you so much, everybody, and I really appreciate all of you. Remember, tomorrow's Friday. There's no class Friday. Next week, let me just double check to give you the exact schedule because I know there's a little confusion this week. So I'm pulling it up here. So next week, there will be a session Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No session Monday, no session Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Next week, by the way, oh my God, it is all about working with buyers and sellers, that appointment, landing it. How do you work with them to get them to create urgency, buy a house? You're going to be talking about negotiating offers. If you have not practiced negotiating offers on both the buyer and seller side, negotiating offers with one of the top coaches nationwide, please attend that because in real estate, everything is negotiable. Everything we do, we can negotiate. So we need to learn how. And then Thursday is going to be really mastering your service of excellence, or making sure that how you're using technology is giving the best service and showing up in a way where it is exceptional, right? And you're standing out that way. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Did I miss any questions? Let me just look at the chat box real quick. Patience, you have to. All right, I think I got all the questions. You have my email address. Do you have any others? Have an amazing night, everyone, and have a great weekend coming up. Bye, thank you.